All right, so to finish up the 8.3a lesson, I want you guys to try example 1D on your own. Hopefully we did. With our 45, 45, 90, first thing, we want to do our special right triangles. Make sure that we label our a's and our a square root of 2 so we can see what do we need to set equal to each other. So here, a is going to equal to square root of 3. So whenever we find segment BC over here, it's going to be the exact same thing because a is 2 square root of 3. So we need to find a square root of 2, so segment AC over here. Well, if this is a square root of 2 and we know what a is, well then why don't we just substitute in for a, that 2 square root of 3, actually let me rewrite this with our AC, segment AC. I'm going to say that AC is a square root of 2. So we're going to remove a and substitute in with 2 square root of 3 using our substitution property. Okay, and then we use our multiplication rules with our radicals. The 2 whole number does not have anything to multiply with, so he's just going to come down, and then you're going to have your radicals to multiply. Square root of 3 times the square root of 2 gives you the square root of 6, which is simplified. I don't have the squares set up on the next 2, so I'll get those drawn real quickly. Here we had our square with our diagonal, knowing that all 4 sides are congruent. They're 90-degree angles. We also knew that our diagonal was 8 square root of 2. So we label our a's and our a square root of 2. This will be one of those where sometimes you'll even notice there's really no work to show because a is in place of 8 over here, meaning a is 8. But I'm going to show you the math work for this. We'll set these equal to each other. We have a square root of 2 is equal to 8 square root of 2. We get rid of that square root of 2 by the a by dividing both sides. And so we see they cancel out on the left, leaving us with the a, but they also cancel out on the right, leaving us with a equals 8. Just right there in that formula. For B, we were told we had our perimeter of 40, which meant each side length was 10. So we wanted to find the length of the diagonal. So here we knew our sides A, but we also knew our sides were 10 each. We need to find our diagonal, which was a square root of 2. So if we have here that a equals 10, well, our diagonal is a square root of 2. So again, we're just going to take that a out and substitute it in with what a is, that 10 square root of 2. Then we just drop the parentheses and just leave it as 10 square root of 2. On example 3, we know we have a 45, 45, 90 because we have a 90-degree angle and congruent sides, so we have a right isosceles. So here again, your a, and your a square root of 2. We see here that we're going to set these two equal to each other. So we have a square root of 2 is equal to 6, what our hypotenuse is. So we go through and we need to get rid of this radical next to the letter a. So we divide both sides by the square root of 2. They cancel on the left, and we're left with a equals 6 over the square root of 2. They don't cancel like they did in the last problem. So we know this is a no-no. We cannot have a radical in the denominator. So we learned our shove it and leave it. We're going to shove that square root of 2 up to the top with that 6. And we're going to leave that radical, that single 2 all by itself on the bottom. We are not done, though. We see here that we have the 6 and the 2 whole numbers. We can simplify that, and we divide it out. We get 3 square root of 2. I mentioned in the previous video that there is a shortcut only under 2 conditions. 1, it's a 45, 45, 90 triangle, and 2, if your hypotenuse is even. To find your legs, all you need to do is take half your hypotenuse and attach that square root of 2 to it. And that's your little shortcut. For example 4, We're not going to pay attention to triangle SUG just yet, okay, because that's going to go on to the next lesson. Here, we do need to understand that segment LU and segment SU will be congruent, because here's our other 45-degree angle. So we label with our A, and our A square root of 2. We could go ahead and use that same shortcut that we used on example 3, or again, of course, I'm going to work it all out for you. Here we have A square root of 2 is equal to that 8. We divide both sides by that square root of 2, so we can isolate A. We're going to get A equals 8 over the square root of 2. We'll do our same shove it and leave it process that we did on example 3 because we have a radical. So we're going to shove that radical, square root of 2, up to the top, and we're going to leave on the bottom as just the 2. We need to remember this is not finished because we do have to simplify this. 8 divided by 2, this will come down to 4 square root of 2. Okay? And we'll work on the 30, 60, 90 triangle in class later.